What's going on, everyone? This is your Blockbuster critic, and today is one of my favorite times, the anti-Xbox One news. Now, to a lot of fanboys out there who still, for some strange reason, still support Microsoft and still plan on buying an Xbox One, they would read this here news article like, well, entire nation, I think people actually like that there Xbox One. I ain't the only one out here then. I'm gonna get all these guys together. We got a big old Xbox One party. Yeah! But to those of us with a brain, we would read this article and say, bullshit. Bullshit. Xbox One pre-orders set sales records at Blockbuster. Xbox One pre-orders set sales record at Blockbuster. Let that sink in. Now, firstly and foremost, I don't know whether or not Microsoft paid Blockbuster to come out with this news, but it's a sad move. Very sad move on Blockbuster's part. Very sad move on Microsoft's part. And let me tell you why. Since when was Blockbuster the place to pre-order consoles? You guys know I worked nearly 3 years at a Blockbuster store. And I can tell you right now, the most, gaming-wise, the most pre-orders we would get for a game would be a game like Call of Duty or Madden. And we're only talking about maybe 10 to 11 copies pre-ordered. Seriously. Because no one comes to Blockbuster to pre-order games. And not only that, people, but when the game would actually come out, Blockbuster wouldn't send enough copies to fill the pre-orders. So why would people want to pre-order anything from Blockbuster besides movies? Because I can tell you right now, for movies like Happy Feet, Batman, The Brave One, American Gangster, and a ton of those major Blockbuster movies, we had tons of pre-orders for those torts. Tons! So how they can say Xbox One pre-order sets sales records at Blockbuster is just beyond me. Now, if they're talking about gaming-wise, that's still beyond me. Because guess what? Blockbuster has never taken pre-orders for gaming consoles before. A couple times in the holidays when the Wii was still hot, that's when they would say, hey, the holidays are coming, you can pre-order your Wii now because we're only going to have 5, so first come, first serve. That's not necessarily the same thing. I was working at Blockbuster when the PS3 and the Wii and the Xbox 360 was there. And I can tell you right now, there was no pre-orders for those consoles at launch. So of course, if we're talking gaming console-wise, it would set a sales record at Blockbuster. Because it has nothing else to be compared to. Let's just read the article a bit here. Now, of course, this article, it comes from Cinema Blend, but what I'm going to read is the quote that came from the UK retailer's head of games, James Morton. Now, see that right there? James Morton, UK retailer head of games. So we're not talking about in America, we're talking about over in the UK. And we're not talking about compared to movies, we're talking about from a gaming standpoint. So there you go right there. From a gaming standpoint, set sales records, but they don't tell you that there's no other records to compare it to when it comes to pre-ordering consoles. I can tell you right now, at our store and the stores all around us, we had launch Xbox 360s, the core ones. We had those for years in stock. Years. Years! Because no one buys those sort of things from Blockbuster. Now, James Morton says, we are delighted by the huge number of pre-orders that we have received so far for the new Microsoft console. At Blockbuster, we have a fantastic array of adrenaline-filled console games for sale or rental. Blockbuster. Okay, your UK head of games for your company is talking about how great it is that they're getting these pre-orders, which is, it could be 100. It could be 100 pre-orders, and that would still set the record. Seriously. But he's talking about how he's delighted that the Xbox One is being pre-ordered. When, how do you guys generally make your money? Renting movies and renting games. And guess what the Xbox One cannot do? It can't play rental games. So why are you so happy? You're not going to be able to make money on every single Xbox One title unless you sell it new, which people don't generally do at Blockbuster. You make your money from renting games, and then when no one's actually renting the game, you put the rental game up for sale, used. Which has all been cut out of the Xbox One. So as you can see, this is one of the most retarded, the most hilarious Xbox One tidbits of news coming from Blockbuster. And then he goes on and says, with Sony releasing the PS4 in the near future, the next few months are going to be an exciting time for our staff and customers at Blockbuster. We can't wait to hear more details from both Sony and Microsoft at the E3 Expo next month. Which E3 is something that Blockbuster has never cared about. All they care about is games like Call of Duty and Madden. Seriously. That was the only time we would get like 10, 15, 20 copies of a game. Everything else, you're lucky to get a copy because they only sent maybe 2 or 3. Whew, man. Hilarious article, Blockbuster. And Microsoft, if you paid for this, if you honestly paid to have this done, you are desperate. Very, very desperate. Well, everyone, that is today's tidbit of anti-Xbox One news. And I hope you all have a good day.
Spread the Xbox One hate. Spread it to every gamer. They must join and convert. We must save gaming.